kitchen floor stands on it. Spraying nicotine-stained walls with Windex, she waves her sponge, cigarette between thin lips, ashes on the wooden chopping board. Grandpa sits at the table, drinks an 11 a.m. Budweiser, catches flies, releases them out the window with the one hand he's got, its brother, slurped up by a machine when he was 17 years old in a factory accident. The empty sleeve droops from his left shoulder like a wet eyelid. My grandma calls my grandpa lover boy because it's easier to say than alcoholic. He blows kisses at her ass while she scrubs tobacco skin from their walls, her hands reaching for redemption. When she's done, sits down to look at their clean slate. The kitchen is born again and it's holy white. The mother of my first boyfriend spent an afternoon on her knees scrubbing his blood from her white tiles. 12 years old, found him gutted like a fish on the kitchen floor, a pair of scissors in his teeth. I called him Snake Boy. Snake Boy bought cheap meth, pressed it into pills, sold it as ecstasy to the kids in my art class. Treats each cigarette like the second draft of a poem. On our first date, he pulls out a lighter and says, "I stole this from a gas station for you." I tell him I don't smoke. He tells me I'm missing the point. Once I told him I missed the beach, so he took me to a sandlot, built a fire, laid out his blanket, and he gave me a seashell. Scars on his arms and chest left red zigzags on my cheek like falling asleep on a carpet. He told me he wished he could rub them off his skin with his fingers. I told him if I could, I would rub them off his skin with my mouth, but I would miss them. They sound like a braille trumpet. My floors can hear his body speak. Once he took me to his dad's tool shed, sat on a crate of magazines, chain smoking, until his face ribboned out redemption like a bullet shot into a brick wall, closes his eyes, tells me he killed his younger brother's dog last summer. Her name was Jessie. Snake Boy says he loved her, still doesn't understand why in the middle of the night he got up, threw her down a flight of stairs over and over again until her organs bruised and she split open like a lip. He feels so bad that he doesn't feel bad. Asks me if I think it means something. I tell him, I don't think I know what any of it means, but when I was half a year old, my father didn't want to baptize me. We're at a family barbecue. So my grandpa picks me up, carries me to the bathroom, locks the door. My parents were banging against it as he lowered me into the sink, them shouting how it won't even count. The water hasn't been blessed. There's nothing holy about what runs out of a faucet. He shouts back how you don't need someone to bless it if it's an emergency. There's more than one way to save somebody. Snake Boy's got the teeth that fell out of Jessie. Keeps the front tooth in his back pocket, rolls it like rosary beads in his fingers. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners. That night in the tool shed, I kiss him. Open up my mouth as wide as it will go. I want to pull the bat out of him with my tongue. Wipe Jesse's death off his chest with a yellow sponge like my grandma. Scrubbing nicotine breath off the kitchen walls every Sunday. Grandpa sits at the kitchen table smoking a pack of Camels, born again in beer. He tells her that those kitchen walls are the most beautiful things he's ever seen.